So hello everyone. Today is day 17, my goodness, of this wonderful work. And one thing I know is that effectively using these tools, practicing is one thing, right? I always say practice makes progress. So practicing the mind and body, the breathing, the body scanning, all these things are great. Getting into how your brain and the brain works and how then the results in the behavior happens is also fabulous. Even in our natural world and in our natural way of learning, or socialized way of learning, when we engage with the material, we get assignments, right? And the assignment, how you do on the assignments and the test and all the different things is how they measure your progress, how they measure whether you absorbed it and conceptualize it, where you can spit it out. So I'm going to say to you that expect circumstances that would lead you to be tested to use these protocols and frameworks. So when something comes up, don't look at it as, oh, my world is falling apart, but see it as an opportunity to test out what you've learned, the knowledge and the skills and the tools. See it as an opportunity to test it out. Because mindset, if you can tell, everything we are trying to do is you can choose to have a closed mindset, or you can choose to have a growth mindset. So when your mindset is fixed, then it is a catastrophe. Everything that happens, you blow it out of proportion. You see it at the deep end of negative. If that's how you function, I hope this process is helping you. Because if you're naming, claiming, and taming, and you are the type that exaggerates and catastrophizes, meaning, you make things look bigger and worse than they are, you would have discovered that about yourself. And I'm very, very sure that this process has also taught you a lot about you, right? Because when you begin to investigate, you will see some habits, you will see some things that you'll be like, wow, right? Before we usually, we turn the camera on others and, point fingers at them and stuff like that. But this has given you an opportunity to turn it on yourself. And what that does is that you see those habits, the good, the bad, the ugly, about you. And so hopefully then you are using the tools. When something happens, then you test the principles on you. Because it's only through the testing, it's only through going back and maybe a whole segment, meaning, because the reason why I'm even going to this place is the fact that somebody's like, oh, well, I'm going through this and that, but nothing is working. I'm like, wait a second, you haven't mastered this thing. What do you mean by nothing is working? Have you looked at the whole segment of how to look at a situation? Is it about your past? Is it about your future? Okay, it's about the past or it's about the future. When you nail that one thing, right? Name it, right? And then, okay, what is the emotion coming out? So maybe you need that segment completely, the naming, claiming. Look at it at the granular level. Of course, you need time to do that. But you know what our default is? We all want a quick fix. So we learn how to master the one or two breathing, and it works on certain situations, and we want that to be the go-to, right? Default. And what I'm saying to you is, you will do yourself a disservice. This is your thinking and your mindset, right? That is not going to help you. You want to test all these different things, modalities, so that you for sure are convinced that, you know what, this works for me. When I do this combination, it works for me. Because of course, these are different stacking and protocols. It's up to you to, as you use them, to figure out the combinations that work well, the things that work better for you. Honestly, you got to aim at making some of these processes your own, meaning the way you simplify it, the way you do it. After you have learned, that is then you experiment and you be like, wow, then if this happens to me, this is my go-to. And so a mindset piece is very, very important. It is, I'm going to show an infographic about a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Even though that's not what you're getting today, at least we got to look at it so that we know where we are on the spectrum, right? If you have a growth mindset, you are open to mistakes. Mistakes help me learn. So that means that when one of these things happen to you and you see there's growth, something growing in that mind, and the other one is locked, right? So a growth mindset person will say, wow, yeah, I didn't succeed in all these things I learned, and maybe I lost my temper, but you know what? I was able to do part 1, part 2, and maybe because I didn't get part 3 right, let me go back, reflect and fix that, right? But a fixed mindset will say, oh, I should avoid those situations. That is where repressing things and, happens. You don't want, in this process, we have actually sown seeds. So you want to be, again, mindful of your default of a fixed mindset where then, oh, I should avoid a mistake, or you are hard on yourself. A growth mindset person will say, I will not give back. I will not give up on it. Even though I didn't succeed this first time, even though I'm still learning, it's taking me a long time, I won't give up. Meanwhile, a fixed mindset person will say, oh, I give up. Well, it's not working. Why should I bother? A growth mindset person will say, even when you get some of these things right, and now it's becoming your second nature, a growth mindset person will say, is this my best, the best I can do with that? Like I said, make it your own, where you are improvising, you are stretching it, right? You are taking in more information, you are exploring with yourself, right? The content is a lot. But a fixed mindset will say, this is good enough. Like I said, some people think after, doing it once, that's good enough, right? And a growth mindset person values feedback. Values feedback. A fixed mindset person does not do well with feedback. The growth mindset person will say they practice to improve. Again, practice makes progress. A fixed mindset person will be like, you know what? This is challenging. I am not able to, master these things, and then they give up, right? So this is not what you are getting, but I'm just telling you the mindset and where you can be trapped. So now I'm going to go, as I'm talking, for a look for the infographic that you're getting today. Because we are going to take an opposite of something we all do. We fixate on things, right? We fixate on the negative. We brood over things, and they run through our minds over and over and over again. We're going to flip and look at the other side of that, which is savoring, where you actually get yourself into a place where you can bring up pleasant memories. See, when we are brooding over negative things from the past, things that have hurt us, things that are painful, right? And we fixate on them sometimes all day. And we allow them to dictate our mood, and they come from our archives, our memory, right? But in the memory, there are also good things. And we are saying that try bringing up a good thing deliberately, mindfully, because this week is all about mindfulness. What can I intentionally do to boost my morale, boost my mood, give me a better picture, to help me see where I want to be, right? So as this exercise is to take a few breaths. Again, you will never depart from the breath work. and then concentrate on how your breath sounds and feels. Think of a pleasant object or event, a beautiful landscape. Maybe you traveled somewhere and there is nature, something. Maybe an exercise or an activity you love, or the taste of a favorite food, something. And bring your attention to that one thing. You are not scattering your concentration on different things, one thing. Say, focus on the details of this object or event. Begin to engage in your mind's eye, because you've done it already, the same way the negative works us up to anger and sadness and all that. You can call up the positive. Feeling the sights, having, bringing the sights into memory, bring it up from memory, the sound, the smell, the texture, and the temperature. Maybe it was a cold day, it was a fall, the leaves were, turning their colors, and, whatever it is, bring it. And let me tell you what the brain will do. Because you brought that memory back and brought it alive, your brain doesn't know the difference. It's gonna evoke those emotions as if it's happening to you right away. And it says, notice how your body and mind respond when you think about these details. Yes, it's gonna, as if you were right there. I see myself as I'm even talking right now, in a place in France that had vineyards, and the emotions are coming up. So this is real. If it's the beach, you will see yourself, what you were wearing, the smell, that salty, taste. Bring yourself to that. And for those who get the winter blues and stuff, like weather change stuff, you can escape and do these things and you feel all right. Because you are giving your mind something to look at, to wake it up, to pick it up, right? And it says, imagine you are breathing in and absorbing these positive feelings, like water is seeping into the soil. It's giving you an imagery. Absorb this thing, whatever it is for you. It says, if your mind wanders during this exercise, or if negative thoughts or feelings arise, let them just go and gently return your focus to the pleasant object or event. Look at how powerful this is. And yet, by default, we let the negative dominate with all these things, and then it actually dumps a feeling on you to make you feel bad. But we are doing the severing exercise to reverse the fact that we can reverse it and say, no, I am choosing from the archive this positive feeling, and I'm going to bring it alive so I can have that good feeling. Think about that. Think about the power that this gives you, where you can transform. You can wake up not on the right side of the bed, as we will say, but then you choose to say, you know what, I will take 5 minutes to take in my breaths and release and relax, and then do this exercise. I am going to turn this thing around and flip it. And then you can turn it around, not only turn it around, but then shift you so that in your day, you'll be picking on stuff that is going to nourish you. Some days will be harder because whatever you are dealing with might be an emotional brew that is heavy. Remember, we learned what an emotional brew is and how to release. So everything will not be peachy. But there are days that you can get yourself out of this thing quickly. Or maybe you were exposed to something, right? Maybe, how sometimes a loved one has called with a sad situation, and you are sad for them. And you hurt for them. And I'm not saying don't go into that happy place. No. Process what it feels effectively. by using those tools that you have, right? Mindfully looking, wait a second. When they were saying this, it made me feel this way. And I can't shake it off. So let me process. What was it that resonated so much with maybe my own situation that, and then you go into those steps again to look. They're exploring an investigation. So there were days that, yeah, something heavy happens and you need not to come pretend that it's all peachy. No, that's not what we're talking about. On those days, go deep. Do that emotional bruise stuff and all the deep stuff to cleanse and release. But we are talking about days that, you just, how thoughts just evade your space. Or if by default you hang heavily on the negative stuff, we are just saying train your mind that now on purpose, by design, you are going to allow it to dwell on positive so that there is a balance. You don't want it to wander around and do its own thing all the time. And that is why I'm saying that you are going to experiment and you're going to figure things out. And you would know where a good balance is for you. And that is why you need the testing. You need things to happen so that you test this thing out so that you can figure out how it works for you. All right? So yeah, here is what it is to savor on good things. Savor on things that nourishes you. Savor on things that will boost your mood. And if you need to create even more wonderful memories, like a walk in the park, all different simple things. Most of these things don't even involve money. Then go there. Sometimes you might need help. Essential oils. You can rub it at, back of your earlobe. Lavender is also a good mood booster. It can make you relax. Check them out. If you use a diffuser, maybe diffuse some, so that your environment, the smell, your senses will begin to, pick up. So sometimes, yeah, we need those, aids and help from all these different things that we do. But remember that if you don't get a test, things don't happen in your life for you to try out some of these things, you wouldn't know how your stuff responds, all right? So we wrap up day 17 and I will see you on day 18. Take care.